I want to see some asses shaking on this one, ladies.
This is Nick Baby Love Salerno. Where's my cane? Over there. You can come in, sir, but you can come back in later. Where's my cane? Where is it? Oh my God, I got my cane here. What am I looking at? You know, because obviously I'm legally blind now. This is Nick Baby Love Salerno. And of course I have to recognize Creative Films, Polka Local Music, Cut It Up Def Records. You know, we're sitting here filming, and this is a porn, and we don't want to give props to all those play haters out there that I ain't got time for, no babysitting. And you check it out, even like with the red thing there. And I'm sitting here with my man Luke. Wait a minute, hold on, my eyesight. Oh, that's Chris. Wait a minute, hold on. No, I know it's our brother Marquise. Wait a minute, let me look back. Oh my God, that's my man, Mr. Mixx. How you doing? What's happening, brother?
What's up, bro?
Doesn't it feel like it's 1984?
Does it? Yeah, the time moves fast, don't it?
It sure does. It sure does. I remember when you first called me, you know, to document the history, and I'm here with my, you know, my shades. I'm doing my Ray Charles and whatnot because of my glaucoma. And you know, I know you called me the other day because you said, "Damn, Nick, you're all over running your mouth. I need to get." What was it? What did you say? You went to Office Depot to give me a case of duct tape, so I stopped talking.
You need that frog tape. Duct tape ain't gonna get it. You need the frog to where no water, none of that can get inside of it. It's just totally tight-lipped.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. So as I pull the glasses up, in 1984, I remember calling David and his buddy, a guy named Chris, and you know, Don McMillan from Macola Records in LA, right?
Right.
Who you first started with, had a record of 12-inch. We won't say what the flip side was, but we'll say what one side was. A record called Revelation, am I right?
Right, exactly.
And you remember calling me on the phone, and back then, you was like calling me from a payphone and whatnot, right? There was no cell phones and all that. In fact, you told me, didn't you not tell me the other day, you said, "Nick, man, that's when the drum machine came out." You were mentioning, because you are the creator of bass music. And I'm gonna call, this is Nick Baby Love with all the Golden Platinum records, calling it on the record. Did you not tell me, you mentioned, let me see if I can remember, 808 SP 1200, if you want to elaborate on that. That just came out?
Well, the 808 had been out for a little bit, maybe like a couple of years, but the way that they were using it, like Arthur Baker that worked with African Barbado for the Planet Rock record. And,
Who's that? Wait a minute, I never heard of him.
Yeah, I know you haven't heard of him. I know. He knows him. Anyway, him along with Egyptian Lover, Pretty Tony, all of these guys had dance music records, and I always, as a DJ in 83, 84, I paid attention to those guys' records. Their records were phenomenal. But I knew that they were using the 808 drum machine, but they weren't using it. There's a bass drum knob that if you turn it all the way to the right, it makes it seem like the bass is oversaturated. So back in those days, they couldn't. I was wondering, I wonder why they didn't make the records with the knob turned all the way around. And I guess maybe they just felt it was too much bass. So there were a couple of records that came out around that time. People up north, Rick Rubin was experimenting with, drum machines, things like that. Some of the LL Cool J records and some of the Run DMC records would have.
I remember when I called you because I was the first one to work I Need a Beat when Rick Rubin called me when Def Jam started on Columbia.
Wow, okay, well, cool. What he was doing, he would use the bass drum, off of the 808 synced up with other drum machines.
The SP 1200?
No, that came later.
Okay, fine,
he had
okay.
The Lynn drum was out at that time, and a couple of an EMU machine called the emulator. That's what you're thinking.
Oh yeah, I remember
emulator.
that.
And stuff has come a long way from that. See, back in those days, I wasn't a keyboard player. I knew notation and things like that because I played saxophone through elementary all the way through high school and things like that. So I knew notation, but I didn't know how to play piano or anything like that. And guys like John Roby from New York that worked with Arthur Baker, he was cold on the keyboard.
You remember you was talking to me, you said, "Nick, I couldn't believe that." Because we're not going to joke because it's on the YouTube. when remember that night when you were saying to me when I first, because I met you in like '84, and I was telling you how that night in the studio was myself, because I went to high school with Arthur Baker and Maurice Starr, you know what I mean, in Boston.
Right.
And John Roby was there because he later had AIOU,
Right.
Landon Patrol with Arthur Baker and all that, New Edition with Maurice Starr.
Right.
And I worked all those records, and we were just talking about that whole schematic of the thing, and you were saying, Nick, I couldn't believe you and Silverman, who wouldn't know a royalty if it bit him in the ass. You follow me? and Luke will say, learn that later. But Luke is still our boy. Chris is our boy. Your brother Marquise, you're out there, right? We got mad love for him, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but like you were educating me, like Tony did, Pretty Tony and all that, you know, about, look, technically this is very, very hard, but we got to put it forth because we got to do the research. We got to do the filling out, even what you're doing today. And so when I told you the story about that night in Galactic Studios in '81 where Madonna was in there, when she was dating Jelly Bean.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? And then, of course, Arthur was in there with John Roby, the engineer there, which John Roby was engineering with another guy, I forgot his name. Silverman was there. Myself, of course, Bam. We call Bam, you know,
Right.
at the legendary Godfather Hip Hop, your friend and mine, Africa Mambata. And so when I was telling you that, and that led you into your thing about me first saying about Revelation, because when I called you up and we were dealing from McCullough's office then on the payphone, and Luke was coming to my house, and Luke will verify this in the future, and he first heard because you and Chris, and obviously you did your thing. Remember the flip side of Revelation was saying, it had like a loop saying, Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And Luke heard that in my house and went nuts and says, oh, I gotta book the group and all that. You talk about it from there.
Right. It definitely happened. It's really funny. We were all the way in California.
San Bernardino,
Riverside area. You know, I get a call from this guy say, hey man, my name is Luke Skywalker and I want to book you guys to come down there. I had DJ'd parties, but we had never did an actual performance before. So when I called him, I was, you know, he actually called my parents' house. You know what I mean? At the time when I was doing this stuff, I was in the military, but my parents didn't stay too far from the military base where I was stationed at. So when I go over there to visit, they said, some guy named Luke Skywalker called for you from Florida. I said, from Florida? I don't know nobody in Florida. So then he left the number, you know, it turned out to be a pager. It wasn't an actual, you know, direct number to the house. I still remember I think I still remember the number, 305-397-56 something.
we would have played that number.
Yeah.
Because then I was bothering McCullough because Luke wanted like 50 12-inches saying, man, you know, he was driving me crazy. And then go to 99 Jams and Jerry Russian, you know, because we got to give him props. He just retired. Right. You know, who broke all the records? Him and his employee, Cedric Hollywood at the time, broke all the records anyway.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I think that, you know, it's just really funny that, you know, that saying time flies when you're having fun. It really does fly when you got good people around you, animated people. You know, it takes all kinds to get it in this line of work. And I wouldn't, you know, take away anything of the good, the bad, the indifference that did happen in those days, because I really feel like outside of, I mean, I know that I was an architect of the Miami-based sound. I know that, you know, the stuff that Luther Campbell did as far as financing the situation, he had an understanding of the foresight of what could happen because he was a concert promoter. He wasn't just a cat off of the street. He wasn't Pookie or Ray Ray trying to come up off of the business. He was already in it as a concert promoter. So he kind of he had an angle to be able to work something, and he actually had a guy, I really believe in him that he could really make the situation happen. When we came down there our second time, I asked him, we was just riding along, I said, man, I don't know a whole bunch about this stuff. I know how to do music and all that. Would you be my manager or the manager of the group? He didn't know really nothing about it. He wasn't managing nobody. But he said, yeah, man, I'll do it. Like that. And on top of that, Nick, I'm going to just say this. For the record, we produced 3 albums with no legal binding with each other. 3 of them. no legal binding. So that ought to let you know that everybody was, who would invest that much money into something that's not a legal binding situation until it got to a certain point?
I'm going to deal with you straight up because you know my history. You know I was hot as a firecracker. I broke rumors. I had so many records. MC Hammer came along. I had come off of Bambaataa. I had Kano. I'm ready. You follow me? And then 95 South copied it later. You know I've been on over 100 albums. You already know my history and whatnot. What was crazy about that, Luke actually got some of the Miami Dolphin players. Like, I believe Nat Moore was one of the guys. He was smart enough to get the money. And of course, Luke would always preach to me like you did and Chris did. Nick, what are you doing? You know, thought I was a big shot, chasing honeys, doing a few unscrupulous things and whatnot. But, and I'm going to reiterate the movie again, which we know, this right with me and you is one extra DVD of outtakes. You know what I mean? With my girl, Vivi, one time. Is she my girl or what? That's actually David I've known since 1984 when we first got the record. And that's his fiance now, and dude, this is scary. It's 2012.
Really?
We're still around. It's 2012, we're around. But I mean, this is all the true story. I mean, I've been blessed to be involved with this group, and even David said, man, you just got, I mean, who's got a better set of ears than Nick Salerno?
Hey, you can still hear. You might not be able to see all that well, but you can still hear. It's like he's a bat. He's the Italian bat.
There you go. There's that bad boy right there. Legally blind, but still alive and in remission from cancer. But you know, it's kind of ironic because there has been a whole change with the music and with it. And it's like, you know, whether it's the Supreme Court decision, whether it's all the shows you did, the whole writing, the whole 9 yards, all the politics, which we're not going to go into and whatnot right now, you know what I mean? That's basically the true story. And, you know, he was right. And he did try to do right thing. And I will give Luke, as I've talked to him, his props. I'll give Chris his props. I mean, Brother Marquise came later, but I'll still give him his props. And you know, I know because I lived it. Because I saw you suffer through hanging, like I said, the tape from the chandeliers and the 808, and like you said, all the other stuff. And then later the SB 1200 came in.
Right.
And like just the other day, going back 2 or 3 months, because I know you're going to blow up because I'm dealing with a lot of investors and I got the YouTube channel. And like I said, filmmakers like Alex Weir, who are doing the Based at 8 Miami, which you're involved with. That's the history. But not only we have a documentary, we got a movie in the works. And we got, you know what, we may have 3 or 4 CDs in outtakes, you follow me? Because we do have to bring the other guys in. Little Roy, you with me?
I'm right here.
VV, the legendary VV in the mix. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. I really appreciate you elaborating on the truth because it's all really like basic humanity and a basic story. And we didn't have the cell phones. And I just can so vividly remember Luke doing like his Jim Brown, like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Watching the mistakes I was making and whatnot. And he went and got the best of my money because I'll never forget the day when I was at 99 Gems when I was on 35th Street. And I got from you and Chris, I had the first cassette of Throw the D. You follow me? When, of course, people, you know, of course, 8 tracks were obsolete, but people that had no DVDs, there was no such thing as a DVD and all that. And Throw the D, we know what it is on camera. I don't want to have to edit. We know, everybody knows what Throw the D is, and the 500 other records they had, or a bunch of records. You know, smart enough to invest. You did the thing, and you took something from scratch. It's all good.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, that's phase 1. We're gonna do phase 2. We're gonna keep you around there, you know, blind bat or not. You definitely gonna get it in for us.